Well, hello, finance students. Before we conclude the week and go into our fall break holiday, I wanted to touch base with you about the extra credit. I had an email from one of your classmates who said, you haven't explained the extra credit yet. And I thought I had, so I apologize for that. But I definitely wanted to take a moment and start to discuss this with you, okay? So let's flip around here to the good old pause screen. So here we are inside a pause. And what the student was asking me about is if you click on the Dropbox here. Uh-oh, there are no Dropbox folders. Wait a minute. Aha! So I think I realized part of the reason that I didn't tell you about the extra credit because I hadn't put it out there for you yet. So let's try that again. I'm going to once again from our pause course homepage click on Dropbox. And this is where you're going to find the extra credit opportunities that are referenced in the syllabus. Okay, so let me give you a little explanation about this. First of all, you're going to see extra credit number 1 and extra credit number 2, and they both have the same description, service learning activity, right? To earn extra credit in the course, let me give you a couple of my thoughts on this, and in fact, if the computer will let me, I'm going to try to switch back around. I like to give you extra credit opportunities. I know that you experience bumps in the road throughout the semester, didn't do so good on a particular quiz or on a particular writing assignment, and so you want the opportunity to alleviate that. Now, first of all, look at your syllabus for information about drop grades. I try to be very fair with you, right? Give you unlimited attempts, drop grades, and things like that. The problem with extra credit is that typically students come to me and they say, let me do this instead of that. We can't do that. Can't do it. Oftentimes, and this is not what one of your classmates emailed me at all. This is just a general message to the class, which is if you come to me at the end of the semester and you say, and I've had this happen before, can I write a 2-page paper and we'll call that even? Well, I think those of you who are working so hard right now on writing assignments and completing quizzes, I don't think you'd like it very much if I said to one of your classmates, sure, just do this little thing here and we'll just call that the same as what all these other students did. You would not have any part of that, would you? I know you wouldn't. So, no, there's no such extra credit like that. You do have extra credit opportunities, but they are limited to what I'm going to show you. Now, that being said, it's extra, and so you are going to have to do a little work. And I think for a finance class, for personal finance, to get involved in the college in this way can be very meaningful. And so I really hope that you'll consider this extra credit opportunity because it's also something that I value, and I hope you'll value too. So let me go back to pause. Here we go. I'm going to click on this link for extra credit. And you have the opportunity to earn 5 extra credit points for completing one service learning activity. Let me actually go back to the folder list because you notice that I listed 2 extra credits. So you have a maximum of 10 points that you can earn through a service learning activity. In other words, 5 points per service learning activity for a total of 10 extra credit points. Now this is very beneficial to you because, as you know, I take those extra credit points and I sweep them all together with all the other points that you've earned. So it's not on top of your overall grade. No, I'm not going to just give you a letter grade. But what I do, let's say you only made a 10 out of 20 on one of your writing assignments. Well, this 10 bonus points would be an excellent opportunity because it would in effect boost a grade that was previously a 50% writing assignment grade all the way up to 100% writing assignment grade. And I think, that is a real excellent opportunity. So you have 2 opportunities to do service learning activities. Let me go back in here and we'll talk about what a service learning activity is and what you need to do. Now, you can read through these instructions, and I provide a link here, and let me see if I can go to this link, to our service learning department here within the college. And they'll explain to you a little bit of what service learning is. In our class, it's an opportunity for you to interact with the community, okay? And as you interact with the community, you're networking with fellow business people. You're learning skills of leadership and corporate social responsibility, and a wide variety of things. And maybe even in your case with personal finance, maybe even there are ways that you can apply this there. So it's a good opportunity for you to really truly make that connection. Now, what kind of opportunities are there? Well, early in the semester, there was a September 11th day of service. But listen, if you're worried about, well, we've missed some opportunities, please don't worry about that at all. Here's an opportunity, for example, that might make a connection with personal finance. We routinely do mentoring and tutoring through the Service Learning Office, and you can see the person's name and phone number across the top here, right, to get more information, with Alton Elementary School. Around Thanksgiving time, we do a food drive, right? So maybe you could look at ways to volunteer or to participate in these. Now, some of these are significant time commitments, but there are also throughout the semester many, many opportunities that are not even listed here. Look at this, volunteer 1 hour per week to tutor students. Now, that might require a significant time commitment. But here there's activities like Christmas Angel Tree, Fall Food Drive. How do you find out about these opportunities? Well, you contact the Service Learning Office, and if you click her name there, I believe it'll open an email, so you can email her or you can call her and say, I need to be involved in a service learning activity. They will probably say to you, what kind of things interest you? Right? And they can give you information about the activities that are on file with the Service Learning Office so that you have a chance to get involved. Now, perhaps the thing that is confusing at this point is there are so many opportunities that it probably feels a little bit loosey-goosey to you at this point. You say, well, I don't really understand what I'm supposed to do. Well, what you're supposed to do is to volunteer and participate in an event. I'll give you another example. The WKNO needed some student volunteers here recently and for an auction that they were conducting. So you might participate in that auction, and that would be your service commitment. Okay, now what do? Well, you cannot simply participate. Can you read that? You will read it when it's on your screen, right? So you can follow along with me right now, but you can go in and look in the pause system. You have to submit some forms. You have to declare that you are participating and that you're participating on behalf of the college. And of course, we want you to conduct yourself appropriately and some things like that, right? So there are forms that you need to fill out. I have provided those forms for you. They're down here in the Dropbox, so they're attached to the Dropbox, and you can either get them here from the Dropbox, or if you go visit the Service Learning Office, they will have those forms for you there also. Where are they located? Well, I gave you the link. Remember, I gave you here's the link up here to that Service Learning website, and from that you'll find there, let me go back because that was on the previous page, contact us, resources. Here's their location on the Macon campus. Here's their location on the Union campus. So you can stop by, but again, I've provided those forms to you as an attachment to the Dropbox. You must fill out the forms and you need to submit them. Maybe you can scan them and email them. Maybe you can fax them. Whatever you talk to them and whatever works for both parties, right? So you submit those forms in advance. In advance. Don't go do something and then come back and say, I want to claim that as service learning. Do the forms in advance. Okay. So you've done a service learning event. That's fantastic. How do you earn the extra credit points? Well, in this class, you complete, I'm going to call this a writing assignment, but I use that assignment phrase loosely. I am asking you to write 2 paragraphs. Easy peasy. This is some easy extra credit points. What do I want you to do? I want you to describe your experience with service learning. In the first paragraph, you're going to tell me your thoughts about service learning prior to participating. Maybe you think it's stupid. Maybe you think it's kind of exciting. But whatever you think, tell me what you think. You can be honest, be respectful, but be honest, okay? In the second paragraph, tell me about the events after. Now, how does this possibly connect to personal finance? Well, first of all, it's connected to the college, and service learning is something that really helps you to become a part and to be involved in the college community at large. So I think it's a good thing. But I want to tell you something else that relates specifically to service learning. I can send you a link to an article that appeared in our college newspaper, or you can simply go to Google and you can find articles that appeared in, well, in a couple of our local newspapers. It was about a Southwest student and his experience with personal finance. Not our class, but just his personal finance experience. He faced a situation where he was homeless, and at one point he was living out of his car. During this time, as you can imagine, access even to water, bathroom facilities, food, just the feeling of being safe were huge things. So one thing that this student did is he decided to create a nonprofit organization. I mean, just imagine that, going from being completely homeless, and while you're in this homeless state, having this dream and having this vision that says, I'm going to feed the homeless, for free, obviously, right? So he starts setting up monthly feedings, is what he calls them, where people come and they prepare the food, they donate the food, and they serve the food to these homeless people once a month. He also collects canned goods to try to do a food drive. This is a registered service learning project now with our college. Now, he had started this prior, but he registered it with our college. What a great thing to participate in. Those feedings, I'm sure, will come around again for November, for Thanksgiving and for the Christmas holidays, and he'll even be doing it on to next semester. What a great thing to turn out and help feed the homeless as part of maybe a Thanksgiving project. Like I said, there are many projects. Volunteering in various auctions. The Pink Palace has Christmas events that they typically need volunteers for. There are always new things coming in, okay? But there is a connection there to the college community at large and to personal finance. Now, can you imagine? I had students who turned out and they said, I'm just doing this for the extra credit. They even told me that in their writing. They said, I'm just doing it for the points. But when they went to that event and they worked alongside even some of their other college classmates and people within the community, one lady said, I worked next to a CPA at a bank and we were talking about the experiences that we had. And it was a truly moving experience that actually formed some career decisions and some degree decisions as well. Now, maybe you don't have that meaningful of an experience. I hope, though, that there is some meaningful value that you get out of it. But nevertheless, it is required as part of the assignment. So let's go back to the pause screen so we can talk a little more. Okay, so I've told you go to the service learning and you identify a project. You might have to talk to them by phone, by email, but you have to do it. You fill out the forms that are required by the service learning office. Okay, there's 3 forms down here and they are all required. And so you'll see what they are and you'll fill them out. After you complete the event, you write 2 paragraphs describing your experience. First paragraph, what did you think about it before? Second paragraph, what did you think about it after? Now, let me really, really hammer home this next part. Don't sling this in a sloppy manner to me, right? Your professional skills are required here. Your college level writing is required. This is a little report. It's only 2 paragraphs, but you still treat it in a respectful manner. Put your name at the top. Put a title on the report. Format it with some margins that are appropriate. Typically a 1-inch margin is appropriate, and this is only 2 paragraphs, so you can do that. I apologize, I put the course number as Management 1010, and of course you know that you're Finance 2205, right? Put my name on it. I'm your instructor. Use correct spelling. Use proper grammar. Use spell check. Use grammar check. Do a nice job. Tell you another reason. I do oftentimes forward your work to our newsletter department, and if they look at your work, they may very well include your work in one of our college newsletters as an example of service learning. You then can take that work and show it to other places and say, this is evidence of my writing and something that I participated in, right? Okay. So read and follow the directions above, complete the documents as required, and then when you have your little writing assignment, your report, you're going to put it into this, you're going to say add a file and you'll upload it here. You can't see it, I apologize, it's off the screen. My submit button is down below off the window, and you'll submit it. Pause will email you a receipt when it does, and if you don't know this, when you check your pause email, the best way to check it is to go all the way back to My Home, and only then, don't go into a class, but then click email. In that way, you can see all your emails without any filtering on it whatsoever. You may not realize this, but when you first come into the pause email screen, it's typically filtered by the class if you started out within a certain class, right? So you don't want it filtered. You want to go to My Home and then click on email. Okay, so let me do that one more time. And as I go back into the Dropbox, now remember, you can participate in 2 service learning activities. You can earn 5 points per activity for a maximum of 10 points. Now there's one more thing coming that I'll go ahead and mention that you may see down here at the bottom, and it says Sct Confirmation Page. If you're familiar with the college, if you've taken classes here before, then you may know that at the end of the semester, we ask the students to evaluate us, to evaluate your instructor. You're also asked some questions about the textbook as well as about the classroom facilities, which in your case is pause, right? So when you do that evaluation, first of all, let me say this. Don't ever send me your evaluation. I do not want to see your responses. In fact, I probably should dock you points if you send me your evaluation with the responses. But what you will do is get the confirmation page. Now, you have a lot of time before this is going to come up. I'm just telling you that it's an extra credit opportunity that's out there, and you'll submit the confirmation page. Read these instructions carefully. I give you more details about how to do a screenshot to get that confirmation page and easily submit it. I also emphasize to you that I want you to evaluate not just my course, but any class that you're enrolled in. I expect you to complete that evaluation for that course and then give me the confirmation page, which will show that you completed the evaluation for every course for which you are enrolled. For some students, that may mean just one course because they're only enrolled in one course. For other students, it would be even more courses. Some students take 5, 6 courses, right? So it could very well be that you have to evaluate all those courses. Okay, so thanks to your classmate who said, hey, where is this extra credit and how do we do this and how do we get started? I did add those up there. I'm sorry that I did not do that sooner. I did overlook that. For the SET confirmation page, you'll notice that you really have till almost the end of the semester. I need some time to make sure I've got all your grades and everything recorded. So December 3rd is the due date on that. But in terms of your service learning activities, you can do them anytime. You can start now, but I do need to have your paper submitted by November the 20th. And again, this just gives me time to grade this information and also to share it with our college newsletter. If you've given me something that's, appropriate and well written, which I'm sure that you will, you can do it. Okay, so if you need some extra credit, investigate this. And great question by your classmate. And enjoy your fall break, and we'll be talking to you very soon.